Hello there. Once again, it's Anton from Anton Bay. Thank you for stopping by the collection room and taking a look at some comics with me today. Today, I think I finally put together all my Warp issues. They've been laying around in various places, and I think at one point I actually even got rid of them. But the neighbor that I sold them to, I think, hooked me back up with them, so I have Warp again. So for whatever that's worth. This is a First Comics. I do love First Comics. I do kind of try to keep an eye out for them, even these days, even though I don't do much comic shopping. If I see a good first book that I don't have much of, I will pick it up. And I think most of these I picked up from a comic shop in El Paso called Rebel Comics, which recently closed down when the owner passed away. So he was a good guy. As far as Warp goes, this is issue number 1. Let's take a look at the date, because that's what we got to do these days. 1983, meaning I would have been 2 when this came out. This is an old book. Pardon the cough. I know 83 doesn't sound like an old comic book. When you start looking at it now, this book is 40 years old. That's getting up there for a comic book, and it's actually in great shape for that. So let's go through and see what Warp looks like. I know I've probably flipped through these in videos in the past. I don't think I've ever put all of them together in one spot where I could actually kind of look at them and see what I have. I was never sure if it was a sci-fi book or a sword and sorcery book, and it looks like it might be a little bit of both. Yeah, because I'm seeing pretty clear sci-fi elements, and then, I mean, that's just totally a big golden robot. So that's what you gotta look out for. Art in them is very good. I love these types of weird angular panels that it's throwing at me all the time, which I've noticed a lot. The more you do videos like this and you just kind of flip through a comic and just look at it in its entirety, ordinary panels get very boring, like for me to look at. And so when you throw in it doesn't have to be much, just an odd shaped panel, you know, just something a little out of the ordinary, it really does enhance it. And these big angular things and this lack of panels, you don't have to do backgrounds even, but they just look so much more dynamic than your standard like grid of panels. And I love their panel work in this. A big octagon looking thing here. This is the living satanic version of Van Halen's guitar, it looks like. I hope somebody out there got that. I can't tell if she is wearing actual chainmail on one arm or if she has scales on one arm. Looks like chainmail, but it's hard to tell. I do really like the art style. Maybe she shops at the Warduke store, because now that I'm looking at this outfit, this is totally Warduke's outfit, made for a woman. Covered in blood. Always important things to have there. I cannot honestly recall flipping through these before. Maybe I have. I don't know. I am thinking they look really nice. Like this is a series that would interest me. Like I would be interested in finishing this out. I'm only slightly disturbed by his outfit. Okay, I'm gonna say I'm more than slightly disturbed by his outfit, which I really hadn't noticed. I was kind of just looking at the panels and stuff like that and her weird Warduke outfit, but now that I start to really notice it, the plunging neckline that he's got that runs clear down below his navel, and then the weird shiny golden codpiece? I don't know what you'd call that thing. Like what is up with that? That's not a good outfit. And then he's got his grandma's brooch Looks like it's sewn right to his chest. Yeah, I'm gonna knock his fashion decisions pretty harshly right here and now. So Van Halen's guitar slash Mr. Satan looks like he is gearing up to cause all sorts of problems. Not only does he look kind of like actual Satan, he looks like Mr. Satan from Dragon Ball Z, which that guy was hilarious. Looks like we get a different story with different characters going on in the back. Both of them are better dressers than our main character and our main lead. That's important. However, we've gone into boring panel territory. Remember I just talked about it. Just look at these. Look at that. You got 9 squares. You got, I don't know, 12 squares. You're in boring panel land. I know sometimes you got to move a story along and you got to move it in the panels, but and this gun looks just totally, I don't know what they were thinking with that. But yeah, boring panel zone. And the reason why these panels get boring and look boring, you've got very limited room to draw something, and then you have to just dump all this words right in that same panel, and it fills your whole panel and your art with dialogue and exposition, and it clogs up the works. You don't get to see near as much of the comic bookness of it. Instead, you're like plagued with this word bubble right over top of this tiny space with your art, which you don't have enough room for anyway. I don't know. It's something to complain about. As much as I love old EC comics and stuff like that, they're easy. Those old horror comics are the worst offenders. Look, even in the dark, his metal schlong thing catches the light and reflects. I'm against it. Totally against it. This particular issue is very thick. I don't know what the deal is with it, why it is so beefy thick. It doesn't have any special call outs to its size, but it is thick. Although I do have to say, this book does just look horrendously interesting. Like, some of these I look through, I'm like, that's okay. This just looks monstrously interesting. Look at that. That is such a bizarre, like, spread page, some sort of weird giant animal skeleton thing. This is just cool. That's just totally cool. I still can't tell which way this leans more, whether it's more sci-fi or sword and sorcery. That's still not something I can really determine, because, okay, there's normal human stuff, like normal Earth stuff. The faceless ones. Okay, I do love when you always gotta love when they put a story in the back of a different comic book, different characters. Faceless ones, once again, it's the small, very small type panels. Heavy on the words, bubbles, crowding in the pages and stuff, but still looks like something that I would enjoy reading very much. I don't know what that comic is, but whatever it is, I would read it. That looks good. All right, so that was Warp 1, 2, 3. What else do I have here? Warp 6, 7, 9. Yeah, I don't have a very good run of Warp, and I guess we'll look here. I saw this guy on the outline, and I thought, it's the same book, but it's not. It's a different book. Isn't that weird? This is Clawhand Man, I guess. Looks like he's working with Van Halen's guitar now. I would have to say, out of all of these, let's just face it, none of these outfits look comfortable. They look cold and they look awkward. And probably jagged. The only guy who looks like he could actually be comfortable is Wizard Man. So it looks like we got a new villain. Really? Who would wear this there? No. Just no. Okay, does everybody do this here? They all have these terrible low plunging necklines, and they all have whatever symbol they have is right on their junk. This is weird. And I can't believe I got through, this is the 4th issue before I noticed everybody's sporting this look. This is not a good look. Whoever wrote this book, they probably have some problems. At least fashion problems. I hope they don't design clothing or anything anywhere. Or you know what, they probably did back in the 70s, and then they fell back on their secondary career choice, which was drawing comic books. Warped Words. Sometimes I love to like just see what different letter pages are called. Warped Words is not bad. I think we could probably do better. The Gunfighter from Hell. Once again, okay, he doesn't have a symbol on his crotch, which that's nice, but he does have the incredibly low plunging neckline. Why? Why do they do this? Of course, what do you expect from a book called Warped? Or Warp. And look, I told you that it was Warduke. She was stealing his outfit. There he is right there. If that is not Warduke, I don't know who is. If you don't know who Warduke is, he is from Dungeons and Dragons. I know him more from an action figure than I do the actual show, which I don't remember. I just remember he was this cool, like, bat helmeted, weird dude who had like one metal sleeve. It was a very mismatched armor outfit. Look him up. Just Google it. You'll be fine. All right, so our hero is apparently now teamed up with Devil in Van Halen's guitar, and that guy's got a cool outfit. For once, he doesn't have a plunging neckline or any badges on himself anywhere. That's nice. At least they're all on his jacket. And then out of the blue, what is this? So in the middle of this old newspaper feeling comic book, we have a very, very glossy page with pages of comics called Mars. 4 pages of Mars here. What's crazy is they have this printed on way better paper, but it's clearly a lower budget book. The art's not very good. The color is kind of washed. Why is it on this paper when this comic looks so much more well done with more interesting pages and more panels? Warped Words. Yeah, and then we get another Mars ads in the back, which, you know, I don't know why you would advertise that. It doesn't look as good as the book that you're already reading. That's one thing. If you're going to put an ad in a book, it should look better than what you're already reading. And that's going to be tough because this book just looks amazing. You get giant golden guy. He's back. I'm going to have to definitely see how long this series ran, because it looks so bizarre here. Like, I can't get over how odd this series looks. Sometimes you get a book and you're like, that's pretty weird. This one, like, gets weird and then gets weirder and then stays weird. Pretty sure he's a robot. He has a robot voice. He doesn't have the human voice coming from the robot body. It's not armor, it's an actual robot, and that's the best way to keep it. pages are stuck together. He's creepy looking. That's cool. The blue lady that apparently doesn't blink. Her eyes are always staring out straight open. Warped Words is in the middle of the book this time instead of at the end. And we get the second story featuring the butterfly glasses lady. Yes, I don't know these characters. I have not read them. But I feel like I probably should read them now. Wow. Yeah, I don't even know where to begin. This is such a weird book. Okay, that is me looking through all the issues of Warp I have. I am impressed. Normally I'm like, yeah, I'm impressed. I'm genuinely like impressed and surprised that I hadn't really flipped through these more and gotten more out of them. Very, very odd, very, very interesting. Terrible fashion choices aside, I'm definitely gonna probably want to check this comic out if I can. Read through them, and I don't know, if I see any more out in the wild, I'm sure to grab them because these are bizarre and likable. And of course, they're from First Comics. So let me know what you think. Have you ever read Warped? What do you think of Warp? Warp. I always want to say Warped. It's just Warp. Anyway, that's my story. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you later.